So, are you learning to connect? Are you learning to channel? Perhaps it's something that you are wanting to do, and at the moment you just aren't 100% sure where to go, what to do, all like that. That is actually probably one of the hardest things about this journey through spirituality and learning to connect is learning when to seek out assistance, probably also with who to seek that assistance out from, because it's a big tricky one when you are going through it. Because more often than not, when we all have that little bit of a stirring, or the AKA the awakening, which means we are aware or sensing that there is something greater than ourselves, and when we have that sense of something greater than ourselves, we start looking to connect and we start getting all these bits and pieces of information. Now, one thing I can't stress enough, that is such a beautiful part of the process. And I encourage every single one of you, doesn't matter where you're at in your journey, not to lose that. One of the best pieces of advice I received early on, one of the first readings I ever had, and the piece of advice was, please remember, wherever you seek out information, whether it be from a book, from a person, whatever, take what resonates and leave the rest. And that is so, so important. And so as you go along your journey, just kind of you'll pick up what feels good, what feels right for you. And that's what's so, so important. You got to remember there is no one shoe that fits all. On the spiritual journey, and especially on the connection journey. And that's why, like, when I do this and I take people through helping them to connect, it's more about helping you to discover how you connect, not telling you how to connect. It's more about you working and finding out how it's all going to happen for yourself. Because let's face it, your brain is different from mine. So the way that you're going to receive information, the way that spirit are going to give you messages, going to be different from the way that I will receive them, and also be different the way that I interpret them. That's actually a bonus. That's a beautiful gift. And that's something that you should really hang on to and really nourish and foster in your growth as you continue this journey. So the big thing here is, though, there does come a point where you're gonna have to start seeking out a little bit of help and receiving that knowledge and the tips and the hints from other people. I know for me that I went through a good probably what 2, 3, maybe even 4 years for memory before I actually managed to find my first mentor, and it was just so lovely to have somewhere to go where I could have the conversations and ask any question that I liked. I was very, very fortunate that many, many cups of tea were consumed over the lovely spiritual conversations and philosophies over the years. And I was very, very fortunate to have that. And so that is something that I do take with me, very dear to my heart. And that is something that I do try to replicate with helping people on their journey. And so, even as we go along this, I really encourage you, if you're feeling up to it, if there's something here, there's got to be a reason why you're listening to me. I know that you probably love me, you love the sound of my voice. No, I'm kidding. But the whole point is that it's like there's obviously something that's like connecting with you already. There is that little nudge, there's that little kind of like thing inside of your mind going, I think I don't. Oh, really? If you're on that edge, like the maybe, oh, maybe, if you're there, really listen to that. I encourage you to lean into that. And that way you can start to really figure out what this is for you, what this is going to mean for you. Because the more you do that, the more you're connecting with yourself, the more you're going to be in alignment with yourself, and you get to ask those questions. And that's what's a good thing, because if you have that place where you can have your questions answered, your growth is going to be exponential. When you're trying to do this by yourself, right, it's like that's a good thing, but it's one of those times where yes, you can do it by yourself, absolutely, and spirit is a wonderful teacher. Never ever substitute experience, can tell you that right now. But the whole thing is that if you keep doing it by yourself, it's going to take time and you're going to get frustrated. Things will happen with your connections, with your messages, where you will be like, oh, this is happening and I don't know why. And when you don't have that place or that group or person to ask, it's only going to frustrate you even more. And sometimes that frustration will become a hindrance and it will actually stunt your growth and slow your journey right down. So that's why sometimes it's important to kind of face it or learn or go and work with someone. But always remember, they've got to, connect with you. You've got to resonate with them because otherwise nothing's really going to, happen there in the first place. But like I said, there's no substitute for experience. But even when you have your experiences, it's nice to have somewhere where you can ask those questions. And it's really, really valuable. And there was another beautiful situation that happened in the last time I ran this on the cruise last month. And a lovely lady by the name of Debbie, and I'm pretty sure she'll watch this, and I know that she'll be like, "Oh," but seeing the magic of her connect and really have and embrace the flow of spirit coming through her was magic for me to watch. And I don't often get to see that from an observer point of view because I'm usually in it. So it was so amazing because she could genuinely feel the love. She could genuinely feel how they were coming through. And it was just flowing for her. And it was amazing. Like message after message was being connected, and people were able to understand where these messages are going and how they could relate until one moment this beautiful, strong spirit was coming through for her, and she was delivering messages to the person in front of her. And then all of a sudden it was no, 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 no. And I really felt because I could see, like, and all of a sudden Debbie was just crying. And it was two forms of crying in one. One was crying because I know they're here. I can feel them. There's so much love here, and I don't understand because all of this time and all these other times I've connected, it's all been there. But this person's so here. I can feel the love that they want to get across, but it's not connecting to the person. And so there's this kind of block and frustration that she was having. Now, the beautiful thing was, as soon as, and of course, with that, it was very distressing for her because Debbie was taking it with absolute heart and with real purpose, going, "Peter, I don't feel like I'm doing my job. This is really sad." Like, and I get that, and I could see that and sense that, and that's why, obviously, she asked the question, "What's happening here? Why would they do this to me?" And straight away, I could, once I tapped into her energy, what was going on. I'm like, "Oh, right." And I said, "Let's try it this way." Because I'm telling you right now that the energy and the spirit that you're bringing through is actually not for the client in front of you. And she's like, "What?" And I said, "This is what happens sometimes. We don't control the spirit world. They will come through. They have their own entity, they have their own energy, and they have their own intention, right? This is not like we have family on speed dial. This is them stepping into our field to wanting to deliver messages." And long story short is I said to her, "I want you to say this again." And as it worked out, that message and that beautiful spirit that was coming through for her was not for the person in front of her, but to the person to the side of her. And in that moment, she got massive and beautiful lessons, one of trust. So what she was receiving was bang on, but it was also a lesson in knowing that, remember, spirit are not always going to give you everything, and we still have to do a little bit of the legwork. But in that moment, it was just so reassuring for her to know that, what she was receiving was 100% accurate. It was 100% connected. But to think, if she was going to have that experience without someone who was experienced around her, I know what would have happened. It would have been, "I don't believe in this." Her confidence would have taken a massive hit, and all of a sudden, her connections and everything she would have withdrawn a little bit more into the shell rather than learning the lesson. So that is just one of the things where it's like it, and even watching her and helping her through that moment, I was like, I have to help people with this. And I think, to be honest, Spirit will give me a little bit of the slap saying, "See, you can help people with this, Pete. You can do this." And it is just purely with, I come from the intention and place of helping people to start, helping people to discover this, because if you do, it's beautiful. It's for ourselves first and foremost. If we go off and help people, fantastic, but it's not necessarily about that. For some people, it will be. But how will you even know if you can't start? So the whole thing is about helping there. But the big thing is, it might be just time to step it up. It might be time to ask questions. It might be time to learn or try different ways, because you don't know until you try. You are not going to have experiences unless you put yourself in that. And I know for a lot of people, the other thing too is like, where do I practice? Where do I do this? The whole thing about this is, it's not about circle. It's not. This is just nice, short, sharp, getting you to the point where you can feel the energy and connect. That's what this is about, and that's what's going to take you through. So it's a big one. So if you're thinking that it might be time, and you're thinking, right, now need to put myself in the mix a little bit. Maybe you're tired of the self-paced thing, like I was back when I was starting out, and just to have that extra person or people to bounce off, then this might be it. So please, again, feel free to hit the link, go to the page, put your name down, come and join us for the Zoom. We can ask these questions. We can sort it out on August 30th. It'll be a great thing. So just remember, you don't have to do this journey alone. You're not alone. Maybe we can help you. And if we can, fantastic. But all I know is that this is a great opportunity for you to take the chance to learn something about yourself, learn to connect, which can help you in your everyday life. And when you do, you really open your mind, your heart, and your life to the magic of spirit. And that is something that I would love for all of you to have. So hopefully I'll see you there.